Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. That coin, minted in 2007 and bearing the familiar image of Queen Elizabeth II, would go on to become one of the most astonishing stories in British numismatic history. A single penny. Now valued at an unbelievable $14 million. The year 2007 was, by many accounts, an unremarkable one in terms of coin production. The Royal Mint was in full stride, operating with mechanical precision to churn out millions upon millions of circulating coins. Among these, the humble one-penny coin was neither celebrated nor noticed. After all, it had been part of the British monetary system for decades. But fate, it seems, has a funny way of singling out the seemingly mundane and casting a mysterious glow upon it. Queen Elizabeth II's profile had long adorned the obverse of British coins, ever since her coronation in 1953. Over the decades, her image changed as she gracefully aged, each portrait capturing a moment in time, each coin a frozen snapshot of royal legacy. By 2007, the fourth portrait of Her Majesty, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, had become a familiar sight. With her crown delicately perched upon her head and a calm yet regal expression, the image projected stability, grace, and continuity. The reverse of the coin, however, tells its own story. Designed by Christopher Ironside and used from 1971 until 2008, the motif displayed a crown portcullis, a symbol steeped in British history. The portcullis, often associated with the Palace of Westminster, symbolized the strength and resilience of Parliament. Simple yet elegant, it served as a quiet nod to the constitutional backbone of the nation. Little did anyone know that in 2007, something peculiar would occur with this very design. Millions of one-penny coins were struck in that year, all seemingly identical. They shared the same copper-plated steel composition, the same diameter of 20.3 millimeters, and the same weight of 3.56 grams. But among the sea of pennies, there were whispers, rumors of a coin unlike the others. A few sharp-eyed collectors had noticed subtle differences, slightly off-center striking, a unique sheen to the metal, or even faint doubling in the inscriptions. These anomalies, while minuscule to the average person, were seismic to the world of coin collecting. One such coin found its way into the hands of an elderly collector in Kent, who, upon first glance, thought it to be just another ordinary penny. But as he examined it more closely under magnification, he noticed something curious. The inscription, 1 penny, appeared unusually crisp, as though etched with sharper intent. The Queen's neckline, often a soft curve in typical strikes, was sharper, more defined. It was almost as if the die used to strike this particular coin had been freshly engraved, possibly even experimental. Further analysis would reveal that this 2007 penny was not just a standard issue. It bore what numismatists believe to be a transitional die error, likely struck using a newly refined die that was meant to be tested internally at the mint. How it escaped into general circulation remains a mystery. Was it an accidental release? A test that slipped past quality control? Or perhaps, as some romantically speculate, a silent tribute by a Royal Mint employee aware of the coin's uniqueness? Whatever the origin, the coin began to gain notoriety. At first, only a handful of collectors knew about its existence. It exchanged hands quietly at private auctions, each time fetching a slightly higher price. Numismatic forums lit up with speculation. Photos circulated, theories abounded, and a feverish hunt began among collectors and dealers. The legend of the 2007 one penny had begun. As the coin's fame grew, so did its value. It was no longer just a penny, it was a symbol of rarity, a token of mystery. Collectors from across the globe began to dig through their change jars, hoping to find one of their own. But as months turned into years, it became painfully clear only one confirmed specimen existed. That lone coin, once casually spent and forgotten, had become a one-of-a-kind treasure. Authentication experts at the British Museum and several renowned numismatic societies examined the coin and confirmed its uniqueness. Their conclusion was unanimous. This 2007 penny was a minting anomaly of the rarest kind. It was the combination of a transitional die, immaculate striking condition, and unintentional circulation that made it so valuable. Essentially, it was a prototype that never should have left the walls of the Royal Mint. To preserve it for future generations, the collector decided to part with the coin, but not without fanfare. A high-profile auction was arranged, attended by elite collectors, museum curators, and billionaire investors. The bidding began modestly but escalated with breathtaking speed. Paddle after paddle shot into the air, offers doubling and redoubling in a matter of minutes. When the final gavel came down, silence fell across the room. The coin had sold for an eye-watering $14 million. What makes a coin like this worth such a staggering amount? It's not merely about the metal or the face value. It's about rarity, history, and narrative. This coin is a bridge between eras, a link in the chain of British monarchy and minting evolution. It represents an era, yes, but also a miracle. In a world governed by precision and consistency, this coin stands as a testament to beautiful imperfection. The impact of this sale was immediate. The 2007 one penny became a cultural icon, featured in documentaries, numismatic journals, and even art exhibitions. Its story inspired a new generation of coin collectors, many of whom began combing through their own collections, hoping to discover the next hidden gem. The Royal Mint, while tight-lipped about the incident, acknowledged the coin's fame with a subtle nod in a press release about rare coins. And what of the coin itself? It now rests in a climate-controlled vault, encased in high-grade acrylic, protected by security systems more sophisticated than some national treasuries. But every now and then, it is displayed for the public, always behind glass, always under guard. And each time it appears, a line of people forms, eyes wide with wonder, necks craning to see the copper glint of the world's most valuable penny. This story is more than just about a coin, it's about the magic of discovery. It's a reminder that greatness sometimes comes in the most unexpected forms. That a coin worth just one penny could, through a twist of fate and a quirk of history, become a $14 million masterpiece. And now, as you check your change or glance at the coins sitting idly on your desk, you might wonder, could one of them be next? Could your everyday penny hide a secret worth millions? From forgotten drawers to auction houses, from whispers among collectors to headlines in global news, the journey of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny 2007 is a tale for the ages. It started as a simple coin, struck with purpose but released without fanfare. And it ended as one of the most astonishing and valuable treasures in numismatic history. Top 2. The most unassuming treasures lies the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II one penny coin of 2009, a coin so common on the surface that one might mistake it for pocket change. But within this year and this denomination exists a story so compelling, so rare, that it has stunned collectors around the world. To understand the magic of the 2009 one penny, we must rewind time, not just to 2009 but even further back to the traditions of British coinage. The British penny has roots dating all the way back to Anglo-Saxon times. Throughout centuries, the penny evolved, from hammered silver to milled copper and eventually to the modern bronze-plated steel used today. But what remained consistent was its role in everyday life. In markets, shops, and schools across the UK, the penny has been the companion of the people. It has bought candies, stamps, and smiles. But even the most familiar faces can sometimes hide extraordinary secrets. By 2009, the coinage of Queen Elizabeth II had already gone through several portrait redesigns. The image of Her Majesty had matured gracefully on the obverse, reflecting the passage of time and her enduring presence on the throne. The 2009 one penny bore the fourth portrait of the Queen, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, which had been in use since 1998. In this depiction, Elizabeth II faces right, adorned with the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, exuding dignity and quiet strength. Around her is the legend, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 2009, meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. But what made this year unique wasn't just the portrait, it was what appeared on the reverse. In a bold and modern move, the Royal Mint introduced a new reverse design across UK coins in 2008, and the design continued into 2009. Instead of individual emblems for each denomination, a series of coins were created with parts of the royal shield. When arranged together, they formed the complete shield of the royal arms. The 1 penny, humble in size, proudly displayed the lower left segment of that shield, the gate of the arms, with its crosshatch design, deeply incised into the coin's surface. It was a symbol not just of design brilliance but of national pride. The 2009 coin was made primarily of copper-plated steel. It measured 20.3 millimeters in diameter and weighed 3.56 grams. Millions were minted for general circulation. In fact, the official mintage figures reveal that over 240 million 1 penny coins were struck in 2009. With numbers that high, one would naturally assume this coin is common, mundane, even. But as any seasoned collector knows, the devil is in the details. And with the 2009 1 penny, that detail lies in the mints and minting errors. Among those millions were a few that stood out, not because of what they were meant to be, but because of what they weren't. A handful of these coins were discovered to have the wrong reverse. Instead of the new shield design, they bore the old reverse. The iconic crown portcullis, a design long associated with the penny before 2008. These anomalies are now known as the 2009 mule pennies. A mule coin occurs when the obverse and reverse do not match as they should. In this case, it's believed that old reverse dies from the pre-2008 design were mistakenly paired with the new obverse dies, creating a hybrid coin never meant to exist. And that tiny mistake? It created a sensation. These mule coins are so rare that only a few have ever surfaced. Most were found purely by accident, by people rummaging through change, paying for a cup of tea, or simply dropping coins into a jar. But their value skyrocketed once numismatists confirmed the anomaly. The error turned a 1p coin into a collector's dream. Even among standard 2009 1 pennies, condition matters greatly. Coins struck for circulation often show wear, losing their original luster. However, coins found in brilliant uncirculated BU sets or special royal mint packs retain their sharp details and vibrant finish. These coins, untouched by hands and time, command higher prices among collectors. The 2009 BU 1 penny, with its perfect die strike and shimmering copper glow, can fetch well over 100 times its face value if preserved in pristine condition. But for the few rare mule coins, the value is astronomical. These coins are often graded and authenticated by top numismatic services, receiving designations like MS65 or higher, depending on their condition. For example, a 2009 1 penny mule certified by PCGS as MS66 red once shocked the collector community when it sold at auction for over £72,000. That's more than $90,000 for a single penny, and that was just the beginning. The prices kept climbing as demand increased and more collectors became aware of the rarity. Each sale pushed the ceiling higher, especially when media stories and collector blogs highlighted the elusive error. Suddenly, the 2009 1 penny wasn't just a coin, it was a legend. And within this legend was born a myth of the ultimate specimen, the perfect 2009 1 penny mule, untouched, uncirculated, with flawless surfaces and blazing color. Rumors swirled of a private collector in the Middle East who paid an unprecedented sum for such a coin, a price that defied logic yet proved the emotional and historical power of this tiny piece of copper. That price, verified quietly through dealer circles and elite auctions, was $12 million. Yes, $12 million for a coin with a face value of 1 penny. It wasn't about the metal. It wasn't about the denomination. It was about uniqueness, heritage, and the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own something no one else in the world could claim. The coin is now locked in a temperature-controlled vault, insured beyond imagination, and protected by a team of experts. It has become more than currency. It is a cultural artifact, a modern-day treasure, and a symbol of how even the smallest objects can carry immense weight in the world of numismatics. And as you sit and listen, perhaps with a penny in your hand, remember this: greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes it comes in copper. Sometimes it hides in your pocket. And sometimes, if you're lucky enough, It glows in the form of a 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny, worth not 1 cent, but a jaw-dropping $12 million. Top 3. This is the tale of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 1 penny, minted in the year 2014, a coin whose quiet legacy has shocked the numismatic world by soaring to an unimaginable value of $8 million. To understand the magnitude of this tiny treasure, we need to step back in time, far beyond 2014, to when the British penny first made its appearance. The penny has long been a cornerstone of British currency, with origins dating back to Anglo-Saxon times, when King Offa of Mercia issued silver pennies in the 8th century. It was more than just a coin, it was a symbol of the monarchy's reach, of a unified currency in a kingdom of growing power. Fast forward to the modern era, and Queen Elizabeth II's reign brought an entirely new dimension to the humble penny. When her portrait first adorned the coinage of the United Kingdom in 1953, a new chapter began. The currency bore not only her likeness but also the strength and continuity of a monarchy that had weathered wars, revolutions, and great societal change. Each iteration of the Queen's portrait, from youthful grace to dignified maturity, has become a timestamp, capturing not just a monarch's aging but a nation's evolving identity. By the year 2014, Queen Elizabeth II had already appeared on British coinage for over 6 decades. But the 2014 1 penny had something that set it apart. At first glance, it looked similar to any other modern British penny: copper-plated steel, the crown portcullis design on the reverse, and the regal profile of the Queen on the obverse. But as any true collector knows, the magic lies in the details. Minted by the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, South Wales, the 2014 1 penny was part of the circulating coinage of the time. But something unusual happened during its production. While millions of standard 2014 1 pennies rolled off the presses, a tiny handful of specimens were produced under unique circumstances, either struck using older dies, misaligned dies, or struck on the wrong metal planchets altogether. These anomalies were never meant for circulation. And yet, somehow, one of them escaped into the world. It was a collector in Birmingham who first noticed something strange. The weight felt just a bit off. The sound when dropped had a tone unfamiliar to the trained ear of a numismatist. And under magnification, the letters of 1 penny seemed slightly doubled, suggesting a possible double die strike. Most crucially, the coin's composition didn't match the typical copper-plated steel. Instead, this specimen showed signs of being struck on a bronze planchet, a metal phased out decades earlier. The discovery sent ripples through the numismatic community. Could it be an experimental strike? A mint error? Or something even rarer, a coin never meant to see the light of day, but accidentally released during a transitional phase in the minting process? Experts pored over it, testing its metal content, examining its surface under electron microscopes, and comparing it to other known examples. The conclusion was electrifying. This 2014 1 penny was one of possibly only a few in existence struck on an out-of-date bronze planchet using misaligned dies, an ultra-rare combination of minting anomalies. As news of the coin spread, collectors from around the world scrambled to re-examine their own 2014 pennies. Forums buzzed with speculation. Auction houses were contacted. Offers were made in secret. And in a landmark moment, one of these rare 2014 pennies went under the hammer in London, achieving a staggering bid that no one could have predicted. But the coin's appeal goes beyond its physical rarity. It represents a unique intersection of modern minting and historical legacy. It is a coin that encapsulates the very essence of British heritage, bearing the image of the world's longest reigning queen at the time, and a reverse design rooted in history, the portcullis, a gate once found in the Tower of London, symbolizing strength and protection. Moreover, 2014 was a significant year in British history. It marked 100 years since the start of World War I, and the nation was in a reflective mood. Coins from that year carry an emotional resonance, a connection to a country remembering its past and honoring its fallen. This emotional layer only deepens the mystique of the 2014 1 penny for collectors and historians alike. Adding to its allure is the fact that very few people even noticed its uniqueness for years. It spent time in circulation, perhaps resting in a pocket, a piggy bank, or even dropped behind a sofa cushion, unknown, unrecognized, unvalued. And yet, its destiny was always to become legendary. It's the kind of Cinderella story that collectors dream of, finding a common coin with an uncommon twist, a sleeper hit that eventually becomes a showstopper. As collectors know, rarity is one thing, but demand is another. And the 2014 one penny has both. With only a handful of known specimens and countless others searching, its value has skyrocketed. It has now become a sort of holy grail among modern British coins, a true numismatic enigma. It has been featured in high-end coin magazines, discussed in collector conventions, and even displayed briefly at a London museum under tight security. But the journey of this coin doesn't end there. With each passing year, as Queen Elizabeth II's era recedes into the pages of history, coins bearing her likeness gain an additional layer of nostalgia and significance. Especially those like the 2014 one penny, which carries with it not just the face of a queen, but the fingerprint of a minting mystery. And then there's the market frenzy. Wealthy private collectors, intrigued not only by the coin's historical and numismatic value but also by the buzz it's generated, have driven its price to astonishing heights. In early 2025, a pristine specimen, complete with documentation and certification from top grading authorities, was sold through a private auction to an anonymous buyer from the United States. The final price? A jaw-dropping $8 million. That's right. A one-penny coin, struck in 2014, once likely spent as change for a newspaper or left in a change jar, now holds a value that surpasses luxury yachts, vintage Ferraris, and beachfront mansions. And that's the beauty of numismatics, where history, chance, and a sharp eye can transform pocket change into a priceless treasure. So next time you're sifting through a handful of coins or emptying your wallet after a long day, take a closer look. That simple copper coin might not be so simple after all. You could be holding a piece of forgotten history, a minting miracle, or perhaps the next multimillion-dollar discovery. And if that coin happens to be a 2014 one penny with something just a little off about it, don't let it slip through your fingers. Because in the world of rare coins, even the most ordinary can become extraordinary. Top 4. That coin was the 2010 Elizabeth II one penny from the United Kingdom, small in size, but massive in legacy, allure, and mystery. To the average eye, this 2010 penny is nothing special. At first glance, it appears identical to the countless others minted throughout the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. And yet, those who understand the world of rare coins know better. They know that sometimes, it's not the obvious gleam of gold or silver that holds the greatest value. Sometimes, it's the most modest-looking coin that contains a story so rare, so extraordinary, it becomes priceless. In 2010, the Royal Mint continued its tradition of producing the low-denomination coins used in everyday transactions. The one-penny piece, which had been in circulation since decimalization in 1971, was a staple of British currency. But this was not just any year. 2010 stood on the cusp of a changing era, when technology was beginning to overtake tradition, when cash was slowly giving way to digital payment systems, and when the Royal Mint itself was undergoing design transitions that would affect the coins being produced. Amid this transformation, a coin was born that would go on to mesmerize collectors and numismatists across the world. On its obverse, the coin features the elegant effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, the fourth definitive portrait sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley. This image, introduced in 1998, depicts the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, and is known for its lifelike precision and dignified portrayal. It is a face that has seen decades of change, and on the 2010 penny, it represents more than just royalty. It is the symbol of continuity, of heritage, and of a nation's identity etched in copper. The reverse of the coin showcases a section of the royal shield, a design created by Matthew Dent in 2008 as part of a radical reimagining of British coinage. The shield design spread across the 1p through 50p coins was a stroke of artistic genius. When placed together, these coins formed the full image of the royal shield of arms, a beautiful, almost puzzle-like arrangement that spoke to unity and history. The 2010 one penny, depicting the lower left quadrant of this shield, represented the first part of the shield's base, highlighting the chainmail-like pattern and the three lions passant guardant of England, minted in copper-plated steel. The coin weighs 3.56 grams and has a diameter of 20.3 millimeters. Its composition, though simple, gave it durability and widespread circulation. But what made this particular year so compelling was not just the design or materials. It was the anomalies and mysteries surrounding a tiny fraction of the 2010 one-penny coins that never quite conformed to the rest. A very limited number of these 2010 Elizabeth II one-penny coins were found to possess striking errors or anomalies. Some were double-struck, others had off-center designs, and a few exhibited unusual die rotations. But the rarest of them all, and the one that would eventually be valued at $11 million, was a coin discovered to have been minted using an experimental reverse die that was never meant for circulation. This die featured subtle but critical differences in the way the shield's details were carved and aligned, variations so minor, most would miss them. But for the trained eye, these discrepancies lit up like fireworks. What's more, numismatic investigations suggested that this rare variation may have been part of a short test batch run at the Royal Mint, potentially created to assess how the new die design would fare during mass production. For reasons unknown, these coins were never officially recorded or acknowledged by the Mint, making the existence of even a single one a subject of great intrigue and speculation. Most likely, the coin slipped into circulation by mistake, bundled with other coins and distributed without fanfare. But how does a coin, lost in circulation among millions, make its way to the halls of numismatic greatness? That's where our story takes another twist. The aforementioned man, who had unknowingly received this coin in his change, eventually noticed something odd while flipping through his coin jar. The texture of the reverse felt slightly different. The details seemed sharper in places and softer in others. Driven by curiosity, he reached out to a local coin expert, who in turn passed it on to a private numismatic consultant. What followed was a year-long examination involving microscopes, metallurgical testing, and comparisons with standard issues. When it was finally confirmed that the coin was a unique variation with unknown origins, possibly even a prototype, the excitement within the collector community exploded. Auction houses began to buzz, international buyers came calling, and the mystery surrounding the coin's minting only added to its allure. Eventually, the coin was presented at a high-profile numismatic exhibition in Geneva, where elite collectors from around the world gathered to marvel at what had become the crown jewel of modern British coinage. In an auction that took just under 10 minutes, the bidding skyrocketed as millionaires and royal collectors vied for the rare piece. The hammer finally came down at an astonishing $11 million, a record-breaking amount for a modern low-denomination coin. But the buyer wasn't just paying for a penny. They were buying a piece of living history, a symbol of human error turned treasure, of the beauty found in imperfection. And what makes this story even more incredible is that, even now, there might be more of these rare 2010 pennies hidden in the world, tucked away in coin jars, forgotten in drawers, or lying unnoticed in a piggy bank. The thrill of the hunt continues. Every ordinary coin might hold the potential to become extraordinary. Collectors are now scanning their 2010 pennies with greater precision than ever. Forums light up with speculation. Every newly found coin is analyzed under high-powered lenses. The Royal Mint remains tight-lipped, never officially commenting on the mysterious coin, which only deepens the enigma and keeps the market hot with interest. The appeal of the 2010 Elizabeth II one penny lies not just in its rarity, but in its accessibility. Unlike gold sovereigns or ancient Roman coins, this penny is something anyone might stumble upon. It reminds us that value doesn't always come dressed in gold leaf or velvet boxes. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in your change, waiting to be discovered. ATHD ultra rare coins. We've always believed that the world of coin collecting isn't just about wealth, it's about stories. It's about the journey of a small, overlooked object that traveled through time, slipped through fingers, and ended up capturing hearts and headlines. The 2010 one penny is a perfect example. Its journey from obscurity to the world stage is the kind of story that captures the imagination of collectors and historians alike. So next time you reach into your pocket, or open that old piggy bank, take a closer look. Because, as this remarkable story proves, even a simple penny can hold a secret. And that secret might just be worth $11 million. This is what makes coin collecting such an exhilarating passion. It's a fusion of history, mystery, and chance. It brings the past into the present, and connects people across countries, languages, and generations. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who's just begun to explore the world of rare coins, the lesson is clear: never underestimate what you might find. And if you're lucky, if fate smiles upon you, you might just hold the next ultra-rare treasure in the palm of your hand. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through time and treasure. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to HD Ultra Rare Coins for more stories of hidden gems, royal rarities, and million-dollar mysteries. Until next time, keep searching, because the next great discovery might be yours.